There were nights when your heart was heavy, when your chest felt tight with fear, when your mind kept racing with what ifs. You thought everything was falling apart. You thought you were losing control. You thought you were alone. But what you didn't see was that behind the scenes of your life, things were already being repaired. While you were worrying, Allah was working. Every tear you shed was not ignored. Every silent dua you whispered in the darkness was heard. Every moment you felt like giving up, something was being written for you that you could not yet understand. You see, we often think that delay means denial. We think silence means abandonment. We think hardship means punishment. But what if it's the opposite? What if the delay is protection? What if the silence is preparation? What if the hardship is transformation? Think about it. How many times have you looked back and realized that what you once begged for would have actually broken you? How many times did something not work out only for something better to come later? That wasn't coincidence. That was mercy. You were being guided. Even when you felt lost, there is a wisdom that operates beyond your understanding. A plan that doesn't depend on your timing. A care that doesn't stop just because you can't see it. And that's the hardest part, trusting what you cannot see because your eyes only see the present moment. But Allah sees the entire journey. You see the closed door. Allah sees the danger behind it. You see the delay, Allah sees the perfect timings. You see the pain, Allah sees the purpose. So every time your heart fills with worry, remind yourself, this is not the end of the story. Something is shifting. Something is aligning. Something is being fixed in ways you could never imagine. Even your struggles are not wasted. That heartbreak you went through, it softened your heart. That failure, it redirected your path. That waiting, it built your patience. That confusion, it brought you closer to your Creator. Nothing was meaningless. You were being shaped, not shattered. But here's the truth many people don't want to accept. You don't grow in comfort. You grow in uncertainty. And sometimes Allah will take away what you love, not to hurt you, but to give you something your soul truly needs. So instead of asking, why is this happening to me? Ask, what is this preparing me for? Because every moment of your life is leading somewhere. And even when you feel stuck, you're still moving forward. Even when you feel broken, you're still being rebuilt. Even when you feel forgotten, you are still being taken care of. You just can't see it yet. So breathe, release the weight of trying to control everything. Let go of the fear that everything will go wrong, because the one who controls everything is taking care of you. And he has never failed you, not once. Look back at your life. You survived things you thought would destroy you. You made it through nights you thought would never end. You stood back up after moments that brought you to your knees. That wasn't your strength alone. That was divine help. So why doubt now? Why fear what's coming when the one who protected you before is still in control? Trust that every unanswered question will make sense one day. Trust that every hardship has an expiration date. Trust that every tear is seen and every prayer is heard. And most importantly, trust that while you were worrying, Allah was already fixing it. So walk forward with hope. Speak to Him with sincerity. And believe with full conviction that what is meant for you will never miss you, and what misses you was never meant for you. Your story is not over. In fact, it's unfolding exactly as it should. There are moments in life when worry feels overwhelming, when your thoughts won't slow down, when your heart feels restless, and when every possible outcome seems uncertain. You replay situations in your mind again and again, trying to predict what will happen, trying to control what is completely beyond your control. In those moments, it feels like everything depends on you. It feels like if you don't figure it out, everything will fall apart. But that feeling is an illusion, because while you are worrying, Allah is already working. Behind every delay, every unanswered question, every situation that seems stuck, there is movement happening that you cannot see. There are doors being opened and closed for you. There are paths being redirected. There are outcomes being shaped in ways your limited understanding could never fully grasp. You might be losing sleep over something today, not realizing that the solution is already on its way. You might be stressing over a problem, while Allah has already written the ease that will follow it. You might be fearing the worst, while something better is quietly being prepared for you. This is the reality we often forget. Your worry does not control the outcome. No matter how much you think, analyze, or stress, you cannot force something to happen before it's time, and you cannot stop something that is meant for you. So what does worry actually do? It drains your energy, steals your peace, and fills your heart with fear, without changing anything. But trust changes everything. Trust allows you to breathe even in uncertainty. It allows you to move forward without knowing every detail. It allows your heart to rest, knowing that you are not the one in control, and that's actually a mercy. Because if everything depended on you, you would be overwhelmed beyond measure. But it doesn't. There is a plan far greater than your own. There is a wisdom that operates beyond your understanding. Think about your past. There were times when you were deeply worried. times when you thought things would go terribly wrong. But somehow, things worked out. Maybe not in the way you expected, but in a way that was better for you. At the time, you couldn't see it. At the time, you felt lost. But looking back now, you can see that something was being arranged in your favor. That same reality is happening in your life right now. Just because you can't see the solution doesn't mean it isn't there. Just because you don't understand what's happening doesn't mean there isn't a purpose behind it. Sometimes Allah is protecting you from something you desperately want. Sometimes He is delaying something because you're not ready yet. And sometimes He is preparing something so good that it requires patience before it arrives. But all of this is happening while you are worrying. So imagine what would change if you replaced that worry with trust. Imagine waking up and choosing to believe that everything is being taken care of. Imagine letting go of the need to control every outcome. Imagine facing your challenges with the certainty that you are not alone in this, that there is help, guidance, and care surrounding you at all times. That doesn't mean life will suddenly become easy. It means your heart will become stronger. It means your perspective will shift. It means that even in difficulty, you will carry a sense of peace because you will know one powerful truth. While you are worrying, Allah is already working. So instead of exhausting yourself with fear, turn to Him with trust. Speak to Him, rely on Him, and remind your heart again and again that what is being written for you is far better than anything you could plan on your own, and it's already in motion. One of the hardest things for the human heart to accept is waiting. We live in a world where everything is instant. Messages, results, answers. So when something we deeply want is delayed, it feels uncomfortable. It feels like something is wrong. It feels like maybe we're being ignored or worse, denied. But what you must understand is this: a delay is not a rejection. Just because something hasn't happened yet doesn't mean it won't happen. And just because a door hasn't opened doesn't mean it never will. Sometimes what feels like a no is actually a not yet. And that not yet carries wisdom far beyond what you can see because timing is everything. You might be asking for something right now: a job, a relationship, success, relief from pain, and in your mind you feel ready. You feel like this is the right moment. But the one who created you knows what you don't. He knows what will happen if you receive that thing too early. He knows the consequences you cannot predict, so the delay is protection. Imagine being given something before you were emotionally, mentally, or spiritually ready for it. Imagine achieving what you want, only to realize later that it overwhelmed you, distracted you, or even distanced you from what truly matters. What you saw as a blessing could have become a burden. So sometimes Allah withholds not to punish you, but to prepare you. Preparation takes time. Growth takes time. Strength takes time. There are parts of you that need to be built before you can handle what you are asking for. There are lessons you need to learn. There is patience you need to develop. There is faith that needs to deepen. And all of that happens in the waiting. Waiting is not empty. It is full of unseen work. While you are waiting, your character is being shaped. Your dependence on Allah is increasing. Your priorities are being realigned. You are becoming someone who can not only receive a blessing, but sustain it. And sometimes the delay isn't because you're not ready. Sometimes it's because something better is being prepared. You may be asking for one specific thing, thinking it's the best for you. But Allah, in His infinite knowledge, may have something greater planned, something you didn't even think to ask for. But in order for that greater plan to unfold, certain things need to happen first. Certain pieces need to fall into place. So the delay is not emptiness, it's alignment. It's everything coming together at the right moment, in the right way. Think back to your life again. There were things you once desperately wanted. You prayed for them, hoped for them, maybe even cried over them, but they didn't happen when you wanted. And at the time it hurt. But later you understood. Either you got something better, or you realized that what you wanted wasn't right for you after all. That clarity only came with time. That's the power of divine timing. It reveals what your limited vision could not see. So instead of letting delay break your spirit, let it build your trust. Instead of assuming the worst, remind yourself that something is unfolding in your favor, even if it's invisible right now. Patience is not just about waiting. It's about how you wait. It's about holding on to faith when things are uncertain. It's about continuing to believe that what is meant for you will come at the exact moment it is meant to come. Because when it finally arrives, you will understand why it didn't come earlier. You will see the wisdom in the delay. You will feel the beauty of perfect timing, and you will realize that nothing was ever denied. It was simply being prepared for the right moment. There are moments in life that feel random, confusing, even unfair. Things happen that you didn't plan, didn't expect, and definitely didn't want. A door closes without warning. A relationship ends without explanation. An opportunity slips away just when you thought it was yours. And in those moments, the question naturally rises in your heart. Why did this happen? Why now? Why me? But what if the question itself is limiting you? Because the truth is, nothing in your life is random. Nothing is without meaning. Every event, every hardship, every delay carries a purpose. Whether you can see it immediately or not, the problem is not that there is no purpose. The problem is that the purpose is often hidden. We live inside the moment, but purpose reveals itself over time. When something painful happens, your focus goes straight to the loss. You see what's missing, what's broken, what didn't go your way. But you don't yet see what is being built, what is being protected, or what is being redirected. Sometimes a closed door is actually a rescue. Sometimes a heartbreak is actually a redirection. Sometimes a failure is actually a setup for something greater. But you can't always see that right away. Think about a time in your life when something didn't work out the way you wanted. At that moment, it probably felt like a setback. It probably hurt. But later, maybe weeks, months, or even years later, you realize that it led you somewhere better. It taught you something you needed to learn. It made you stronger, wiser, more aware. That is purpose. Purpose is not always comfortable. Purpose is not always easy, but it is always meaningful. Every struggle you go through is shaping you into someone new. Every challenge is building something inside you. Patience, resilience, humility, strength. Even the moments that break you are not meant to destroy you. They are meant to transform you. And sometimes the purpose is simply to bring you closer to Allah. Because when life is easy, it's easy to forget. But when you are struggling, when you feel lost, when you realize you don't have control, that's when you turn back. That's when your heart softens. That's when your connection becomes real. So even your pain has a purpose. It's not there to harm you. It's there to guide you. But here's the challenge. You won't always understand the purpose while you're going through it. And that's where faith comes in. Faith is trusting that there is meaning, even when you don't see it. It's believing that every piece of your life is part of a bigger picture. It's accepting that your understanding is limited, but Allah's wisdom is not. You don't need to have all the answers right now. You don't need to understand every situation immediately. You just need to trust that nothing is wasted, not your tears, not your prayers, not your struggles. Everything is being recorded. Everything is being used. Everything is contributing to a plan that is far greater than what you can imagine. So the next time something goes wrong, pause before assuming it's meaningless. Ask yourself, what could this be teaching me? How could this be guiding me? What might this be protecting me from? Because there is always something beneath the surface. And one day, the pieces will come together. One day, what feels confusing now will make sense. One day, what hurts now will feel like a blessing in disguise. One day, you will look back and realize that every single moment, even the painful ones, had a purpose. And that purpose was shaping your path exactly the way it needed to be. One of the greatest struggles of the human heart is that it wants certainty in a world built on the unseen. You want to know what's coming next. You want clarity before you take a step. You want guarantees before you trust the path. But life doesn't work that way. You are given only a small window, the present moment. You see what's in front of you, you feel what's happening now, and you try to make sense of it with limited knowledge. And when things don't make sense, fear begins to grow. But here is a powerful truth you must hold on to. You see a moment, Allah sees the entire picture. You see today, Allah sees your past, your present, and your future, perfectly connected, perfectly aligned. This is where trust begins. Because your vision is limited. You judge situations based on what you can immediately understand. If something feels good, you assume it must be right. If something feels painful, you assume it must be bad. But that is not always true. Sometimes what feels good can harm you in ways you don't yet realize. And sometimes what feels painful can protect you in ways you cannot yet appreciate. Imagine walking towards something you really want, a relationship, an opportunity, a certain path in life. From your perspective, it looks perfect. It feels right. You see no reason why it shouldn't happen. But suddenly it doesn't work out. The door closes. Things fall apart, and you're left confused, maybe even hurt. But what you didn't see was what was behind that door. You didn't see the pain it could have caused later. You didn't see the complications, the consequences, the hidden harm. You didn't see how it could have taken you further away from what is truly meant for you. But Allah saw all of it, and out of His mercy, He redirected you even if it felt like loss. This is why not everything you want is good for you, and not everything you lose is bad for you. Your understanding is based on appearance. Allah's wisdom is based on reality, and reality includes things you cannot see, cannot predict, and cannot fully comprehend. That's why sometimes the best thing you can do is surrender your need to understand everything. You don't need to know how everything will work out. You don't need to see the entire path. You just need to trust the one who does. Think about a child holding on to something harmful, something they think is valuable. When a parent takes it away, the child cries, not understanding that it was for their safety. The child only sees the loss. The parent sees the danger. In many ways, we are like that. We hold on to things We chase things, we become attached to outcomes without fully knowing what they carry. And when those things are taken away, we feel hurt. But what if that removal was protection? What if that redirection was mercy? What if that confusion was actually guidance? You don't always have to understand to trust, and that is the essence of faith. Believing in what you cannot see because you trust the one who sees everything. So when life doesn't go the way you planned, don't rush to assume the worst. Remind yourself. There is a wisdom here that I don't yet understand. There is a reason this is happening. Even if I can't see it, there is something better being arranged for me. And one day, clarity will come. One day, you will look back and realize that what didn't make sense at the time was actually guiding you in the right direction. You will see how every twist, every turn, every unexpected moment was leading you exactly where you needed to be. But until that day comes, you walk with trust. Because even when your vision is limited, Allah's vision is complete, and that is more than enough. There are moments when your struggles feel unbearable, when the weight of life presses so heavily on your chest that you wonder how much more you can take. You look at your situation and think, why is this happening to me? Why is it so hard? It's natural to feel that way. No one enjoys pain. No one welcomes hardship. But what if your struggles are not here to destroy you? What if they are here to transform you? Because the truth is, growth rarely comes from ease. Strength is not built in comfort. The strongest hearts, the most resilient souls, are not created in moments of ease. They are shaped in moments of difficulty. Every struggle you face is doing something within you. Even if you don't feel it right now, even if you don't see it yet, something is changing. That heartbreak you went through, it didn't just hurt you. It taught you. It made you more aware, more careful, more understanding. It showed you what truly matters and what doesn't. That failure you experienced, it didn't just stop you. It redirected you. It forced you to rethink, to grow, to become better than you were before. That waiting you're going through, it's not empty time. It's building patience, discipline, and trust. It's teaching you how to rely on Allah, not just when things are easy, but when things are uncertain. These are not small things. These are transformations of the heart. But here's the challenge. Transformation is uncomfortable. Just like a seed must break before it grows. Just like muscles must tear before they become stronger. You too go through a process that doesn't always feel good. There are moments when you feel broken, but broken does not mean destroyed. Sometimes being broken means you are being rebuilt, piece by piece, in a stronger and more beautiful way. The version of you that comes out of hardship is not the same as the one that went in. You become wiser. You become more patient. You become more aware of your dependence on Allah. And most importantly, you become stronger. Not the kind of strength that means you never feel pain, but the kind that means you can carry it and still keep going. That is real strength. But many people miss this transformation because they focus only on the pain. They resist it. They ask, how do I escape this? Instead of asking, what is this doing for me? Because when you shift your perspective, everything changes. Instead of seeing your struggle as something against you, you begin to see it as something for you. You begin to realize that every difficulty carries a lesson. Every hardship carries growth. Every test carries an opportunity to come closer to Allah. And suddenly your pain is not meaningless anymore. It has purpose. It has direction. It has value. This doesn't mean you should seek hardship or pretend it doesn't hurt. Your pain is real. Your emotions are valid. But don't let that pain blind you to what's being built inside you, because one day you will look back and see it clearly. You will see how that difficult phase made you stronger. You will see how that test deepened your faith. You will see how that struggle prepared you for something greater, and you will realize that you were never being broken for no reason. You were being transformed. So don't give up in the middle of the process. Don't assume that just because it's hard, it's wrong. Sometimes the hardest paths lead to the most beautiful destinations, and sometimes the struggle you're trying to escape is the very thing that is shaping you into the person you are meant to become. So hold on, be patient, and trust that every struggle you face is not the end of you. It is the making of you. There comes a point in life where you realize that trying to control everything is exhausting. You plan, you calculate, you worry, you overthink, and still, things don't always go the way you expected. That's when a deeper lesson begins to unfold. You were never meant to control everything. You were meant to trust, but real trust is not easy. It's not just saying, I trust the plan when everything is going well. It's saying it when things are uncertain, when doors are closed, when answers are delayed, when your heart feels unsettled. That's when trust becomes real. To trust completely means you accept that there is a plan greater than your own. It means you believe that every event in your life, whether it makes sense or not, is part of something meaningful. It means you stop measuring everything by immediate results and start believing in a bigger picture, because the truth is, your plan is limited. You plan based on what you know, what you feel and what you can see. But Allah's plan is based on complete knowledge of what was, what is, and what will be. His plan considers things you cannot even imagine, future consequences, hidden realities, unseen dangers, and unexpected blessings. So when you try to hold on to your own plan too tightly, you create tension within yourself. You resist what is happening. You fight against reality. And that's where stress, anxiety, and frustration grow. But when you trust, something shifts. Trust doesn't mean you stop trying. It doesn't mean you become passive or careless. You still make effort. You still take steps. You still strive for what you want. But in your heart, you let go of the need to control the outcome. You do your part and you leave the rest to Allah. That balance is powerful, because it frees you from constant worry. It gives you peace even when things are unclear. It allows you to move forward without fear controlling your every step. But complete trust also requires letting go of attachment to specific outcomes. Sometimes you become so attached to one particular result that you convince yourself it's the only way things can go right. You think, if this doesn't happen, everything will fall apart. But that's not true, because what is meant for you will always find its way to you. And what is not meant for you, no matter how much you chase it, will never truly belong to you. So when something doesn't work out, instead of holding on to disappointment, learn to release it. Remind yourself that if it was truly meant for you, it would not have passed you by. And if it passed you by, then something better is being written. This is what complete trust looks like. Believing that closed doors are not failures, but redirections. Believing that delays are not rejections, but preparations. Believing that even loss carries hidden mercy. And sometimes trust means walking through uncertainty without answers. It means waking up each day without knowing exactly how things will unfold, but still believing that you are being guided. It means continuing forward even when the path isn't clear, because you know the one guiding you never makes mistakes. Think about your life again. There were times when things didn't go your way and you thought it was the end, but later you realized it was actually the beginning of something better. That's the plan unfolding. And it's still unfolding now. So instead of living in constant fear of what might go wrong, choose to believe in what can go right. Choose to believe that every step you take is leading you somewhere meaningful. Choose to believe that you are not alone in this journey, because you never are. So trust the plan, not halfway, not when it's easy, but completely. Trust it when you don't understand. Trust it when you feel lost. Trust it when things don't make sense, because one day everything will make sense. And on that day, you will look back and realize that every twist, every delay, every unexpected turn was exactly what you needed, and you will be grateful that you trusted even when it was hard.